Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hey Sal podcast live from Rome, Italy. I'm your host Sal. Today we have with us Paul Staunton from Dublin. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. It's good to see you.
And we have Frankie Frank in the
Frankie,
control room,
baby.
moving all the
everyone.
buttons, making sure all the transitions look nice.
Sure.
You alright?
Yes, I am, man.
All right.
Thank you for asking.
Okay, I'm Sal. This is the Hey Sal podcast. Hit it. All right, for everybody who's listening or watching for the first time, this here is a conversational podcast. I'm just having a chat with our guest today. It's Paul Staunton. He's a very dear friend of mine. He's back after, I believe, 10 months that you've been on the podcast the last time when we did our second episode. Today it's episode number 33, I believe, or 34. Frankie, did you
I
count?
think at 34, but I'm not sure. Don't bet on it, man.
We're always drunk when we do this. No, I'm just kidding. So we are live on YouTube, which means there is a chat window on your right side. So if you have any questions for Mr. Staunton, or if you have any questions for me, just type them in and we might answer them
Maybe not.
if we can. Or maybe not.
Depends on the question.
Exactly. So Paul, man, how's it going?
Good. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's
since
been a
I
while.
seen you yesterday.
Yeah.
How are you? Good.
All right, yeah. A bit spaced out today, but
Yeah,
generally fine.
Me too.
It's
Well,
a
today
funny
is
period.
a nice day around Rome.
Oh, Rome is
Went for,
brilliant.
Had my dog with me today,
Mm.
so went to the park and stuff. It was very nice.
What kind of breed is your dog, actually? I always wanted to
It's
ask,
like a
but...
Breton, mix between a Breton and maybe Spaniel or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a very active dog. Like, he's
Crazy.
always on the spot.
I took him off the leash and he just went
Okay.
about 50 times in circulation.
Wow.
And other dogs were just like, they were just dizzy looking at him. And I was like, hey, come back. And he was like, gone. Because he
Wow.
always sniffs. He's a sniffer dog, you know.
Mhm.
So in the park, he just smells everything and you can't get him back on the leash. So
Well, it's good. It's important that to get to run a lot, to
Oh, yeah,
work out
it's,
and stuff.
it's good for me as well. Get some exercise. No, I went for a long walk today. I love parks, you know.
Mhm.
And I went to the park in Celio, right behind the Colosseum
Yep.
there. And it's one of my favorite parks in Rome. It's it's well looked after actually, which
Right.
which upsets me. In other parts of Rome, parks are not like
Mm.
parks are not as well looked after. Which
Celio
best
would be
part of
beautiful, but
city life is parks.
Right.
And
Right.
like coming from Dublin, parks are very important to me anyway. I love sitting in the park.
they're
or walking
perfectly
around.
groomed in Dublin. Like,
Yeah, they weren't before,
cut
like in the
and-
80s, like they were pretty bad, but then, you know, money came in and they fixed them all up and
Mm.
they're great, you know. I love sitting in the park. It's just in the city, you need to have some green. It's very important for every person that lives in the city just to go in and sit, even for 10 minutes, you know.
Oh yeah,
Just like
recharge the batteries.
take your mind off stuff and just go around. You start looking at it. You see kids running around having fun, you know.
Mm.
It's very enjoyable. It's very happy place to be, you know.
Right.
So it's a bit of a zen, you know, for me. The parks are very, very important, and I try to go as much as possible to the parks. You know.
What's your favorite park in Rome?
Celio, I think
It's Celio.
I like Philip Borghese as well,
Hmm.
but it's very crowded. Celio is like very, I don't know, not many people go there. When every time I'm there, it seems to be very empty.
Well, it's kind of
Or-
a secret park. Not many
Yeah.
people know about it. It's also not super accessible if you don't know how to get there.
Yeah, it's well hidden, you know. I like it, you know. And it's interesting because I think like during the summer they have like jazz festivals there, and
Really.
yeah, it's really cool. It's a great place, and we did some photographs there. Do you remember with?
Oh yeah, right. It
Yeah.
was in Celio.
And it's very
With
gothic
Laura
as well.
Stanka.
Yeah, Laura. And it's very gothic park as well. You know, it's a lot of interesting statues there and sculptures and stuff. And there's a part in the back where there's a playground, and the kids are playing there and all jumping all over the place. And there's a little guy with a pony for the pony ride. So that brings you back to being a kid, because I used to do that a lot. You know,
Really.
pony rides and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's just very enjoyable. It's very childish. The parks are childish. You know, you can just run around. The dog was spinning around on the ground and like upside down, and was just looking at me. It's like crazy. You know.
It's funny because I read 2 years ago that I'm not sure if that still holds true or if it was true back then, and I might be wrong, but Rome is the city apparently in Europe with the most green areas.
Yeah.
And it could be. It could be because there's a lot of parks. They're not all well well
I mean, the
looked
park
after.
that's near your house, we went running there once.
The small one,
what's it called?
the Parco delle Energie.
I mean, I remember being there that day. It broke my heart. Like the grass is this high, and it's just rubbish everywhere and
But
stuff.
they changed it all now. Now
It's
it's much
better now.
nicer. Yeah.
I think it's important that the commune or whoever runs these things, they should really invest in the parks, because it's it's great for people with dogs, kids. It's a great place to just kind of even have a picnic and stuff, and parks are just very, very important.
I mean, there's a
spaces in
threshold for
cities.
me. Like, would I bring my parents, or if I had children, would I bring my children or my parents there?
Yeah.
If it's nice enough for that, or would I let my children walk around alone in the park? If it's meeting that threshold, then I find it's a nice park.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, hi Ruggero Ruggeri. Hi guys, he says. Hi back. How's it going?
Jay.
If you have any questions for this man, write it down. Yeah, so a lot of green areas, but then there's these huge parks in Rome as well. The one on the Via Appia, what's it called again? I just went there a few days ago. It's like super huge.
Where the office is for the...
It's like almost countryside. It's not really a park anymore.
It's huge.
What's it called? Fra, do you remember?
In Porto Furbo.
Frankie.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
very
the
close
name.
to
Is it on Via Appia? Just on Via Appia? The
Furio
access,
Camillo in that area.
I don't have it
I
at
got
the moment. Maybe Caffarella.
Caffarella, Parco
Parco
della
della
Caffarella. Very
Okay.
good.
Very beautiful.
100 points to you. We should add sound effect to this podcast.
Thank you very
Mario.
I can play that on the piano. by the
What's
way.
your favorite park? Fra, the park that's near your house, what's it called? With the funny, weird
Villa
house.
Torlonia. Villa
Yeah,
Torlonia
that's
is a very nice
beautiful as
park.
well.
Beautiful, very
It's very- that's
particular.
Teatro inside there, and I went there to see kids from America play in
Yeah.
this orchestra there.
Mm.
And walking around, I don't know the name, some weird dude built this owl house or something. Is that correct? It's like an owl house.
Yeah, I think
And
so. Yeah.
apparently Mussolini just took it off him and during
right,
the
now I
Mussolini
remember.
lived there. That's
Lived
what
there,
I
yeah,
think.
he just
I know
paid-
it as the Mussolini Park, that's why.
paid
Villa
him,
Torlonia, I had to think
it's
for
like,
a while.
I buy it off you, here's 1 lira, it's mine now. Okay, So, but it's a beautiful park as well. Like,
That's true, yeah.
it's something I want to actually today. It was in my mind like maybe I should go around and photograph all the parks of Rome. Maybe expose it a bit more.
Right.
Get it out there. Like this park is shit, man. We need people to, confront the community and like get it back to the way it should be.
Right.
Back for the community.
It'd be nice to have also a comparison with like archive footage and see how it used to be
Yeah.
and put it side by side. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I believe like
Could be an artistic
in
project.
back in the day, Rome was very clean, very well maintained, and I remember talking to Salvo about that. He moved here in the
Mhm.
70s, our drummer,
Right.
and he was saying like Rome was very well maintained. The roads were great.
Mhm.
Something happened along the line. I don't know. Still a great city. I love it. I love the messiness of it as well sometimes. But I suppose if I don't drive, so I don't experience it in that sense.
Yeah, that's the thing in Rome. I think if you have a car and if you have to drive every day and if you have to drive and commute a lot, I
Mm.
think you go insane.
Yeah, it's
Like I
crazy.
see people turning neurotic if they drive every day.
Yeah.
Like if you have to drive every day an hour to work and back, and what was it last week? I read that Rome was not number one, but maybe number two in terms of spending most time in traffic worldwide.
Maybe
Not
the
just
Not
second
just
one
in
is
Europe, but
Brazil.
worldwide.
I think in Brazil.
Number
maybe is
one
the
was
first
probably
one.
Brazil, right?
I think
Something
maybe-
like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
And that's
even
mad.
getting here, man. I cycled down Uber bike.
Right.
I was scared, cars going.
I got hit by with a Uber bike today.
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, I had no ticket for the tram, so
Mm.
I'm not one of those people that just jump on. I believe in paying my way,
Good man.
and so I know my luck. I go on and go, "Where's your ticket?" And be like,
Right.
€50 fine,
Mm.
So I just saw an Uber bike. I was like, I'll cycle. But it was a daunting experience cycling in the streets, especially now. It's like rush hour,
Right.
So I was kind of whizzing in and out of cars, and
And then the potholes and
I
madness.
had the phone. I was like trying to find this place. I was like, let's just keep going straight.
Mm.
So it was and everything's it's a good experience cycling and as well. That's nice.
So how you plan your trips when you have to go from one place to another? I mean, let's say you have to get to a new place that you don't know yet, so you don't have a routine to get there. Is there any You go to Google Maps usually to get around in Rome, or do you use
Uh,
specific apps to get around, or?
Yeah, I'd probably just Google Maps or
Mm.
Apple Maps. Apple Maps is becoming a bit better now, and I kind of plan it out. Say if I had to go somewhere later on, I'd look at the map and just look at what buses are there, or,
Mm.
and then I don't look at it again. I just go,
Okay.
okay, memorize the stop and just get whatever bus it is, or
Mm.
sometimes I just cycle, whatever,
I think that's the one thing. If they would just put GPS, working GPS, in every single public transport means of transport in Rome, I think life would already be
Yeah.
instantly 60% better for everybody. Because then actually, even though you cannot rely on a public transport, maybe because it's not starting, maybe leaving the point of departure at the scheduled time,
Mm.
at least you see where it is. And so you can actually plan your
Well, it's getting
trip
better. A lot
accordingly,
of
you know?
stops now. They have like say 64 buses arriving in
Oh,
6
yeah,
minutes,
I mean,
especially around like
the theory is good, but it don't work really. Very often
yeah.
they have like ghosts
I don't.
GPS
A
things.
lot of people give out about like the transport now. I don't find it that bad, to be
Mm.
honest. It doesn't bother me. I don't use it that much anyway because I
Mm.
live in the center. So
No, I use it a
if
lot.
I walk
Trust
it,
me.
I walk as much as I can,
Uh,
But I find with Uber bikes now, and you don't really need to get a bus. I think the metro is really good, and you're coming from a city that has no metro. So I lived in New York for a long time, and I'm well used to the metro, and I
Right.
love getting the metro. Like so, I don't really find. I suppose the night buses are a bit tricky.
Mm.
But at night time, I'm one of those people like, oh, okay, it's not here. I'll just walk home. Like if
Right.
it's an hour, if it takes me an hour, I'll just walk.
But that's us because we have like a whole, we have a whole, what you say, we have a lot of choice in what in alternatives, at
Yeah.
our disposal. Big toolkit. That's was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
Toolkit. My brain's a bit slow today. I'm not sure why. Been a long day. Should sleep a bit more. But there's a whole process. For example, like when you don't find the public transport that you're looking for, you
But
just
see,
say,
I
okay.
don't live in the outskirts, so
Also that.
I would hate to travel every day on a bus.
Mm.
So I'm sometimes when I go to Pineto, it's like it takes like 4 trams for me to go on because I can't stand like crowded spaces. So I'm one of those patient people. I don't just jam myself in like a sardine. Like I don't
Right.
do that. I'll just wait until the right bus comes and then I jump on it.
Mm.
Like my favorite bus is the 50. You're the one that drops
Oh,
you
yeah.
outside your house. That's a great bus. And when I go to you, it's outside my house and just boom. It's actually so much easier than getting. I would take 2 trams to get to your house. Like, well, then one to Termini, then Termini to San Giovanni, then San
Every now and then
Giovanni.
there are these perfect connections that do exist for a while, then maybe they disappear in the
Yeah.
future. It's also
No,
the yellow train, but not many people know about. It goes
Yeah,
on
yeah, I
behind
got
the
that.
Giardinetti.
Get that sometimes.
It's a nice
as
one
well.
too.
But I'm a walker. I walk as much
Mm.
as I can. Like I don't. It's my only form of exercise, so I'm aware of it.
Mm.
So like if I look at the maps and it says half an hour to walk somewhere, I'll just walk.
Mm.
If it's longer, if there's a place I don't know, and
Well, if you can, it's good. If you have a lot of shopping, you're a bit older, maybe then it
Yeah.
starts sucking. But there's a whole hierarchy that we of alternatives that we have. Like for me, I go, for example, take the
Yeah.
tram. Tram is not coming. I have the apps. I have like 3 apps I can use. One more reliable than the other. Then I take a bus if the tram is not available. If the bus is not available, then I take maybe a Uber bike. If there's no Uber bike, then maybe I take a car to go. If there's no car to go, then I can take maybe a car sharing go, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So I have a whole hierarchy, and in the end, I can also walk because I know my way around Rome, or I know where I have to walk to get the next public transport that might bring me where I have to go. So if you have all these things at your disposal, you can get around. But some
Yeah.
people don't have that. Some
It's
people
good for the environment as well.
are not
like,
good with
more
the
people use
apps.
these apps, and
Mm.
like I noticed there's Kulta or something it's called. It's like it's kind of like Uber, but it's Uber. It's kind of like Uber bikes, but it's scooters,
Mhm.
and they're pretty much all over the city now. I've only noticed them lately, and they're great. They're electric bikes. I think if like with the traffic problems here, people start kind of using these resources. I mean, I'd say probably save a lot of money as well. Like
Mm.
rather than buying a car and insurance and stuff, you just like, if you need to go somewhere one day, just rent it and do it. Do what you got to do, and then back
Right.
to the walking.
Mm.
Whatever. So I probably will start doing the scooter thing as well. I think I like it. I'm not really into owning cars or anything like that. I don't want to. have that burden of owning a car, especially living here, like parking and all that stuff.
Like
Uh,
parking is for somebody who doesn't live in Rome. Like parking here is really a long-term
it's a
investment.
luxury.
It's a long-term time investment.
It's like George Costanza and Seinfeld when my father has a parking spot. He won't move that now for 5 months, or something.
Exactly.
So it's like that's what it's like here. It's like a luxury kind of thing. I think just too many cars, basically.
Mm.
For me anyway. Especially you feel it more in the summer. When there's 40 degrees, there's cars everywhere, and it's just like breathing all this fumes in and stuff like.
Mm.
But it'll get better. It's gonna it's not going to get any worse because all it's going to do is get better because the way the world's going now, we have to change. Like cars are becoming hybrid now, which is pretty good, and it just has to change because we just don't have the resources in the world to feed all this stuff now.
Mm.
So it's just going to change. I'd say in 20 years' time it'll be a very different environment, especially for public transport or private transport and stuff. It will be different. Like I do believe that. Like,
But you think the Romans are gonna accept
I
it?
think, well, it's a bit like the smoking ban. I always compare it to that. Like you can't smoke inside anymore.
Mm.
You have to go outside. And everybody, okay, just do that. So it'd be just like you can't drive petrol cars anymore. You have to drive these cars, and that's it.
Mm.
It's as simple as that. Like,
But,
'cause
but if you take away the mobility of people, then
not taking away the mobility, it's just changing it,
Mm.
and people have to accept it. I think, that's the way I look at it. Like,
well, if the
Now,
alternatives are good enough.
I mean, for me, it's like the city, the climate here is really good. Like,
Mm.
okay, the roads are pretty bad. Say if the roads got fixed up a bit more and made more pedestrianized roads or cycling lanes and stuff, like it is in Holland and Berlin and Amsterdam, and even in Dublin, it's kind of like that now. Even though it's out in cycle there, it's freezing. Like.
Mm.
But here you have the good climate. There's no excuse for it. Like, I mean, today is February 17th, and it's like an Irish summer today. It's like 18 degrees. Like.
I know so many people. If they say that if there were proper cycling lanes, they would instantly just
Yeah, and then it'd be all
cycle the
peaceful,
whole time.
and people won't be angry, and people cycling by, hello, and good vitality of life,
Mm.
So it's just
It's a nice theory.
no, it will change. No, it has to.
Mm.
It has to change. You can't sustain it. Like, it's already crazy. Like
Mm.
it will change. I mean, the first thing to do is change all the governments just have to go like, hey, Fiat, Alfa Romeo, change your engines.
Mm.
You have to just do it. And it's up to people you vote for to do that. Like so, and the European Union is a great source as well because they
Mm.
put I know people hate the European Union and stuff. I think they are good because they're outside and they set a kind of a standard for everybody in Europe, where you go, let's try and get down the emissions and change our ways of life and stuff, and it just trickles down. Like
Mm.
it's good, it's not all bad, like Brexit shit and stuff like that.
Of course,
Own your own
that was
destiny.
that. It went by. Nobody noticed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's like I'm probably a bit too naive with all believing and stuff, but I do believe like things have to change. I mean, it's very obvious that just millions, just lots of people on this planet now compared to 50 years ago.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
We're consuming more.
We have to
using
change,
more
definitely.
resources for our consumption,
Mm-hmm.
and population in the cities are much higher than they are in rural areas and stuff. So
Right.
So it just has to change. We can't keep throwing out plastic every day and throwing it on the streets.
The question is
thing
how
that-
you incentivize the people to do that, because I don't think holding a gun to them is gonna do
Well,
the trick.
You see someone just walking on the road and throwing a plastic bottle on the and just like definitively just that fucking drives me crazy, man.
Yeah,
and
I've seen it a few times
I've
too.
done it a few times where I pick it up. Excuse me, you dropped your. And to be like, so it's just up to us people like to, set example.
Mm.
It's all to children basically. If you bring up your children in that way, say you shouldn't throw things on the street, you should recycle. It all starts from children. As they grow up, we all become extinct, and that changes. So it starts from children, like educate them in a different way about life. It's already happening. Kids are protesting against politicians now about climate change. They're all worried about their future. So
Right.
that's, to me, is like I look at them and go, they're the change. You know, they're going to make it happen. Like one of those kids are going to become a politician or something, and maybe, or someone are going to become great scientists, and are just normal people that are concerned about their environment. The rubbish, I don't like if people just throwing stuff around. I really think it's actually ignorant. And it's rude, and it's not right.
There's certain areas if you drive through in Rome that you can see like refrigerators, and you see like huge.
Yeah, I think that's more of a problem
closets
with more of the, I suppose, the mayor of Rome or something. Not, I don't know, like they probably don't have the resources, or there's something going on with the trash here. Like, I'm not too well informed by it, but it's quite apparent that there's a problem.
Right.
Where you see garbage on the street for a week, you're kind of like, okay, is that a problem that must be a problem in politics or somewhere in the Comune or something of Rome, So, I mean, I don't criticize. I'm not here criticizing Rome or Italy or anything. I love the place and I love the people. I love living here, and we got we just see the cracks now. You know what I mean. And if you lived in Dublin, it's the same thing. There's problems there, like in every country. So I'm not here to. I don't want to criticize anybody. I'm just saying that it's up to people. It's up to everybody to just come together and, and try to just make this environment better. And not to throw shit out on the road, or, as I said, like people just dumping stuff in the streets. It's just disgusting. It's not a good thing. It's not good. It just infuriates me, actually.
I just wonder if the schools are getting better, or and if they're really teaching these things, or if they are, because I think there's some schools that are really bad, where you see kids walking around there. You observe them for a while, and I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that in all schools they have a very high standard of
I hope so.
teaching them this kind of civil.
It comes to the politicians, the Department of Education and stuff, to set programs, and maybe learn from other countries, learn from other countries that are a bit more environmentally conscious, and just, it's not copying or anything. It's just learning by example, and a bit like, I remember I think it's in Great Britain, they start teaching children how to do CPR. I thought it was a great, because it's one kind of aspect you'd never forget it. Once you know how to do CPR, and the theory is that as again the generation goes older, so say I collapse and some kid is 15 does CPR on me, like, it saves my life,
Right.
And apparently it's like statistically, like, it saves about 20% of life, because a lot of people know CPR. Like, I don't know CPR. I never learned it in school, but it's something I actually want to learn, actually, like how to, just in case something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But again, it comes from the kids, You just bring them up in that mentality, that way, and life's better, Good for everybody, So anyway.
Did you ever learn the Heimlich method? The thing where I'm very scared of
Heimlich maneuver.
Heimlich maneuver in English. What was it? Yeah.
Heinrich or
Heinrich. Fra, any idea?
Heinrich Himmler.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No,
that's a different thing.
Heinrich, I can't remember now because I'm.
Well, it's basically,
anyway,
if you choke.
You just pop
exactly.
it out.
Like, I'm very afraid of choking. Like, I always cut my pieces in very
Don't worry,
small
I
things.
know that one. I'll save
Okay.
your life someday.
But you're not always around.
Just don't be eating toffees or something.
All right.
No, yeah, it's again, just learning at it. It's children, man. They just absorb everything, and then as they get older, they're like, someone collapsed. Oh, I see. Boom, boom, boom. Might save a life, Again, like, don't throw shit in the streets. Don't throw garbage on the roads. Recycle. It's things like, I noticed in certain train stations or metro stations, they have these plastic machines where you can recycle. And you
They're
can get
new,
some
right?
money and stuff, some tokens
I
or
think
something
they
like
give
that.
you tickets,
Yeah, it's like get
like
vouchers or
bus tickets and
something.
stuff.
Yeah,
Mm.
which is it's good. I suppose it's a good incentive. Get something for something, it's good.
Yeah, it's a good start. I mean, in Germany they have this thing called Pfand. So this basically, what would Pfand be in English? It's basically that when you buy some drinks, some bottles, glass bottles or plastic bottles, I think,
Yeah,
you pay you pay a bit more than the normal price would be, but you get that money back if you return it. It also means that if somebody finds a bottle and returns it, they get money.
oh
So
yeah,
that's an incentive
yeah.
to clean up the streets. In fact, it's very hard, at least around where I visit very often in the south of Germany, to find bottles lying around. Because, of course, if you're smart, you make a business out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not really a business. I mean, it's like bums usually, or elderly people trying to make some extra cash on the side
It
for
was-
their pension. You know.
this story is true. In New York, there was a homeless person. If you notice in New York, a lot of the homeless people, they collect. You see, like they have like 10 bags of plastic.
Right.
And in a way, they're like they're the environmentalists of New York. They
Mhm.
go around and they get all the plastic, and they go to these machines and they get some coins, some money. And I believe it was actually a homeless guy that thought of the idea, and he made it into this business.
Really.
Where I believe so. Don't know if it's true, but I remember hearing something about it, and when I was living there. But
I'll check
I
that
hope
out.
it's true. Like it's a good story. Like
Right.
he got an idea,
Mm.
and not good for obviously it's not good to be homeless and whatever. But
Well, it's kind of a success story of getting out of
I
starting very
believe
low.
so. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that when I was living there.
I just think it's true, just
Anyway,
for feeling good. By the way,
well,
Mark Walsh says,
oh,
"Hi,
shit.
hi guys.
Are you afraid?"
You all look really sexy. Thank you, Mark. Right back at you.
Well, Mark is our Irish friend.
Is he in Ireland now? In Dublin?
Yeah. He's singing away.
Opera.
all over the country,
Making his career there.
I sent him. He is singing a lot. He's coming along very well, and he's getting a lot of exposure. And myself and Francesco play with him sometimes in Dublin and stuff. So, but he's singing very well. He used to be a shit singer, to be honest. But then he got proper lessons, and then he's got rid of got rid of some quaverness in his voice, if you want to say it like that. But he's been taught by a good guy, a good singer in Ireland, Christy Dignam, who's a really great singer. And Mark goes to him, and now he's
Top
on
of the
his
notch.
own. He's playing every day, doing different concerts, and
No fair play. Well
Yeah,
done,
yeah.
Mark.
well done, man. Come to Rome, we'll set you up.
So let's check on Frankie, by the way, who is in the control room. Let's check on Frankie and see how he's doing.
I'm okay, thank you, guys. Yeah.
So you're
Still
observing,
alive.
you're still awake and observing the whole conversation so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still awake. I mean, I'm trying to, sleep some seconds, moments, but you talk all the time, guys. I don't know what's your problem. Anyway, I'll tell you later on. I don't want to share my deep bad thoughts about you guys. Next time.
Classic Frankie.
Yeah.
So so
So you also do a lot of, you work a lot with photography as well, right? And
yeah, I wasn't for a while, but I'm starting to do. I'm going back to the old school of SLR, pre-digital, like
Right.
black and white rolls of film. So I'm starting to just have this old camera that I have for a long time, and I like digital photography and stuff, but I want to go back into black and white printing, and it's a lost art as far as I'm concerned, and I love it a lot. So I'm kind of starting to get into that now. I would like to probably teach some of it as well. I'm trying to see what can I do a class or something of teaching the kids or schools or black and white photography or something. Teaching the exposure aperture of a camera.
Mm.
It's just like a needle, like, you know, and there's no like press this button and it'll give you everything you want, you know.
Mm.
So you know, it's important to understand what's called depth of field, you know. And a lot of people like, I'm a photographer, and like, oh, what's, you know, depth of field? I'm like, no. I was like, well, it's a fundamental rule of photography is to understand depth of field and how the dials work and the exposure and the ISO of the, you know, light and dark light and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so I've been slowly getting into that because I can do digital photography, and I was in Trastevere one day and I met this lady. She was selling her prints, you know, and she was very proud of. She said, "Oh, this is all SLR. This is all like I printed all these images,"
Mhm.
and I was like, "Wow, great!" You know, I was very inspired by her actually that day. It was a few months ago actually, and I met her. I don't know who she is, but I just met her. I bought one of her pictures and or one of her photos, I should say, and it was very nice. The photography was great, and it's that whole process, you know, taking a picture and then going to a darkroom, developing the film,
Mm.
letting it dry, then go into the enlarger, printing it on paper, going through the developer, and seeing it expose itself. It's a great feeling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a lot of time where you can just take a picture of it and go into Photoshop maybe, but it's still not as good. Black and white, original black and white printing is, to me, it's the best, you
Mm.
know. And you know, there's if I take a portrait of you, right, and I go through all that process and give you this image in a frame mounted, and you know, there you go. It's gonna be very special to you because you can see all the work that went into it,
Right.
you know. So it's just something. It's like a very serious hobby, you know.
Mm.
And I love it. I love photography.
People appreciate stuff that, as you say, that they can value, that they can touch and feel, and that's where they see that there's a lot of work and craft
Yeah,
that went into it. Because there's two ways the world's going
it's
right
an
now.
art. It's an art.
One is all the digital automatic stuff that you get the latest iPhone and they do everything just perfectly,
It's
whatever.
great. So that's all great as well.
And the other direction is then
Yeah.
back to the roots in a certain way.
Yeah, I love digital photography. I love
Mm.
Photoshop. I learned it from the day it came out. You know, I went through all the
Black and white
stages.
version on the Mac Classic.
But Photoshop technically is a dark it's like it's a digital darkroom. You know,
Mm.
it originates from all the concepts of Photoshop come from a darkroom, a photography darkroom, where the blur tool, the burn tool. You used to do that. You do all that with your hands in the darkroom. You use little gadgets. You just make, if you know, you print an image in black and white. If there's too much black, you kind of stop the light
Right.
and you balance out the black. You know, and it's just the same. You go in Photoshop, you just do it
Mhm.
with a
Sure.
brush. So this thing, Photoshop, is you know, a new invention. It's not. It's just transferred from analog to digital, like basically, you know.
Right.
So, and again, if you're a photographer, people understand all
Mm.
that. I mean, it's gone beyond now. It's
Of
gone
course,
into
there's so many other
steroids, you
functions.
know.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, like, no one uses Photoshop. People, unless they're really hardcore, you probably only use like 5% of it, like
Mm.
5 to 10% Photoshop. Yeah, that's great stuff, and they add in tools and layers and stuff like that. But it's important to understand color, and even in black and white, sorry, my stomach's grumbling. I haven't eaten that. So, no, it's
Hey, Rob,
it's important,
two pizza, please. Huh?
you know, it's important to understand RGB and CMYK.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
prints.
That's the minimum that you should know if you use Photoshop.
And it's important to understand colors within black and white, where reds could be more dense and
Mm.
black. I forget what's it called. There's a rule. There's another.
Alpha,
No. It's like
grayscale.
the grayscale rule. You know, it's like from 0 to 24, and there's all these different types of grays. I think it was Ansel Adams that invented the grayscale movement. I forget the name of it. Maybe someone type it in there.
Mm.
But anyway, it's if you understand shades of grey. Then there's chemicals, chemical reaction to film
Mm.
is different as well. Like there's Ilford, so there's Kodak and all these. One I love is called Microfen. It's really strong. and it just
Micro?
Microfen.
Okay.
It's like a chemical. I use it to. I don't even know if it can. I have to see. I have to go back into all this now because I don't have to buy all this stuff. I hope it's still on the market because it's great stuff.
Probably it's illegal by now.
No, it's good. It's like it develops certain like a 1600 ISO. It develops it like in like 5 minutes. You know, it's like it's really good. And I don't know why it works well. Like the science of it, I have no idea. But it just, I remember someone telling me to buy it, and I just did it. And it was like I got some great results, very clear exposures, and the print, and then the paper as well. There's different types of paper, and then there's grades in the enlarger, like where you get more blacks, less blacks. It's like the grade 1 to 5, you know. So it's a lot of stuff. I mean, you can do it all in Photoshop. Like, you can really just do it all. Take a picture on your phone and make it into grade. That's fine. But to me, it's just again, it's like painting a picture. You know, you go to the stages. You know.
You have a very patient and very different approach to me when it comes to Photoshop. Like I use it mostly for automation now these days. Like if I have like 100 pictures that I took at the open mic, for example, I'm not gonna be asked to go through each one of them and put a watermark on it, for example. So I use like the batch automation there, or something like on Instagram. I'm sure if you saw it. Like I put these tiles now on the Instagram feed of the podcast, which is, by the way, instagram.com/heysalpod. And you can basically record the whole thing, cut out the tiles, export them, and now in the future I just click on the play button and he does everything for me, Photoshop, or she, I'm not sure what it is.
It's great for batch automation, and it's great for, I mean, my photography is, I was always more fascinated by the process of photography rather than even taking the picture.
Really?
Like I used to get like, I remember years ago, this guy gave me like thousands of negatives, like from his family, you know, like not thousands, like probably 100 or so. And they were all like scraped and wrecked, and, you know, they were all different odd sizes, but I printed all the images. I made something out of them, like gave it. He was shocked, you know, and I worked hard on that. I retouched some of the photos. Like I got this chemical and painted on the blacks where there were scrapes, you know, photo restoration.
Right.
I know sepia. I used sepia tone kind of.
Like did you close the blacks when they were opening up with them?
That's how they used to do it back then, you know. It's like they just paint over, like using certain inks and certain pigments and stuff. And I mean, you know, again, it's like we're just retouching, you know. Now I can do it on Photoshop, 5 minutes, you know. And I did a lot of that through the years. I used to work for a gallery in Dublin. I did about like 25,000 images.
What?
Restored 25,000 images. Digitized 25,000 images.
So that's another topic I'm interested in. How do you deal with such a huge amount of data? Because one thing is you can go through it picture by picture, and I'm sure that there's some aspect to it if you have to manually adjust things. But when you have to research certain photographs and find them, index them, whatever, like how do you work with the huge quantities?
Well, I just coded them in a certain way I had the file naming. Back then it was just the stage of converting to this digital, you know, it wasn't very popular, so it was just a lot of hard drives, a lot of coding and Excel sheets and stuff. Now you could the company I work for in America, like you could do it all, and that's a web browsing app, like, and just have all metadata. Now it's metadata. It's the most important. You have an image, you tag it, you write captions, headlines,
right,
keywords. You know, you have special metadata. Special metadata fields that are unique to your workflow and your company or whatever, and then you have a nice visualization of it. You've got a good search engine library, you know, and it's all in the cloud, and it's very, very good. And it's very, you know, if there's people in it, you can tag. And now this like the big one now is like optical recognition, facial recognition.
Like the iPhones have that already. Like they propose you. Sometimes I see
like
you or Fra in my photo feed.
Google and Amazon are kind of racing towards, like, I take a picture of you, right? And it'd be like, jacket, trousers, shoes.
So they recognize the assets on the picture
Yeah, like
and tag them already
microphone. Yeah, and they'll tag it
and label
themselves.
them themselves.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a big one now. It's already happening,
Mm.
and it's pretty accurate actually. I did a test on one or two soft, like just online on Amazon or Google, and it's okay, it's
Mm.
good, but it's gonna get better.
It's a little wisdom bomb that Ruggero Ruggeri dropped here. In this day, I will read it now. So thanks, Ruggero, for this here. In this day, 17th February 1600, Giordano Bruno, philosopher, mathematician, poet, cosmological theorist, was tried for heresy by the Roman Inquisition, and he was burned at the stake in Rome's Campo de Fiori. Wow, that was today. Wow.
Is he trying to tell me something, or
Many people, I don't know, many people in this day go to Campo de Fiori to put a flower under the statue of Giordano Bruno. Okay, I did not know that. I mean, I knew that he was burned at the stake. I didn't know it. People still put flowers under that.
yeah, it's
Under
way
the
ahead of
statue
time,
today.
that man. Because Neapolitan, was he?
I don't know. Let's
That's
maybe
ridiculous.
Ruggiero can give us feedback on that. By the way, also Mark Walsh, he says, "Don't be afraid, Fra." Probably referring to our conversation before. And Jose is getting mad that I'm proposing pizza because she's waiting with me with food at home.
Cool.
All right.
Where were we?
Photography and badge or
So like
workflows for a lot of pictures.
There's two sides to me, right? There's the photography,
Right.
the industry of photography, the love for it, blah blah blah,
Mhm.
and then the other side is my music and composing and stuff,
You're a complete
And
artist.
it's hard to sometimes this suffers, or the photography suffers because I'm more into it, and then the music suffers because I'm more into it. It's hard to balance the two out, and I suppose the last year, as you know, I had a shitty year, basically. So a lot of everything went underneath, and I just maintained it to this level. Like I didn't give any. Now I'm like really interested in, like I don't say I wasn't interested in playing music last year. I just did it. I did my job. I did everything. I just did it to the level I had to do it. I wasn't. I did it to that level because I felt like last year I was like someone just going to a 9 to 5 and going to the bank working and then just do what you got to do and go home. But for me, it's not good enough. I want to give it the extra 100%. And so now I'm like feeling a very because last year sucked so much, and it's like 2020. This is like getting back into playing music, enjoying it. Not playing it because I have to enjoy it. And writing stuff, and then getting into this photography kind of project as well. So it's good. It's good. I just lost it for a while, and now it's like it's coming back.
I can
like
see
I'm
the sparkles in your eyes.
No, it's good. And we all go through it. The lull and stuff. But like now, I feel very musically. I feel great at the moment. I've been playing these open mics. It's supposed to help me a lot, and just playing with other people and watching other people. Played a lot with Francesco as well, and it's been great because the piano is something I'm very in love with, and I never really ever played with a piano player that much in my life until I met Francesco, and now we kind of like
You're too generous, man. Thanks a lot.
now we kind of we played with each other for so long now that we're starting to see things about ourselves as musicians, rather than the projects we do, but internally, like privately, like we're seeing different elements of our musicality, and we're kind of getting into that, like playing totally different songs that we would play like with the Waistcoats or something, and it's good. It's good, It's like original stuff, and I enjoy it a lot. And the piano really just opens up your mind, So I wish I could play it, but he's my mind, he just he does all these lovely notes. And
Hey, Fry, play
them.
this.
Sorry?
Yeah, I wish I had a piano at home, but my neighbor would kill me probably.
Yeah. She won't be there for long though.
I hope she has a long and prosperous life.
so you can knock down the wall and take her apartment as well.
Right.
Then you'd be like, have a piano in there. Sorry, I didn't mean that. She's always banging on the wall. But yeah, so just enjoying these days, just enjoying playing music and singing. I'm really enjoying singing a lot as well. I'm trying to become a better singer, and that's good, you know. Just playing with people, some great open mics in the last few weeks. Different artists, different instruments as well, like saxophone, and people playing piano and stuff. So I'm a bit strict with it, you know, because I don't want any electric guitars. I just want it purely acoustic and leave it at that, you know. It's too messy, like electric guitar and.
Do you do it for logistical reasons or for the atmosphere that you want to create?
I just want, I want a kind of a natural atmosphere, and I find that it becomes very up and down for the quality of music. If it was an open mic like the one in the Druids Rock where it's all electric, it's fine because the volume's the same. But I just find when someone comes up and does all this crazy shit, and then there's someone playing a slow song after, it's just like a drop. So I like this, and I think as well, I don't even let anybody use effect pedals in their guitars. It's like plug in, use your voice, use your guitar, use the piano. That's it, because I find I want to see you as a musician. I want to see what's behind all the layers, you know. And it scares some people because they're so used to using effects to hide themselves, you know. And I've never really did that. I don't really use effect pedals, so I try to make it as very organic as possible, you know. And I think it's working actually. I think it's good.
Yeah, I've been to one of your recent open mic nights. It's good fun. It's great. It's great selection of people.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's like a very nice atmosphere. People are listening. The vibe was very good.
Yeah, I try to give a nice sense of atmosphere. The lights dim down and stuff, you know. And hopefully it get better. And it's getting better. And I just enjoy it, you know. It's like a night out, a few beers, meet some new musicians, and maybe play with some, you know. And it's great. It's good. And long may it last. Yeah.
And every now and then you discover also great, like really, really great artists. I mean, there's generally, I would say, good artists, but sometimes
there was a girl from Ireland a few weeks back. It's Sarah, her name. Sarah. And she just blew me away, man. She spoke very like Irish, you know, but her voice was totally different, you know, when she sang. She was a bit nervous, and I think it was weird because she was like, I haven't played for ages and I'm nervous, and I was like, just go up and play, it's fine, just don't worry, like, right, you know, if they listen to me, they'll listen to you, like, you know. But she went up and man, she blew the place away. Her voice was incredible, and that's what I love when I see something like that. And I love that when I just some gem comes out of nowhere and just you go, lovely, you know, like great songs, and her voice just killed me. Like, I thought she was great. I hope to see her again. If you're watching, please come again, Sarah. Peace out. And yeah, so she was great. And then this guy Raphael comes in and plays the sax. Very nice, jazzy kind of guy. And enjoying him. He's coming in a lot, and kind of great because you're learning the sax, so I'm getting used to playing the sax player. And he's really good, actually. Like, he's very, very good. We did Fly Me to the Moon the other night, and he played he corrected my rhythm, you know. He's like, you have to do it more like, and I was like, so I was like, wow, not the way we do it. I was like, doo, whatever, you know. But it was good. It was good. Yeah, it was nice musicians, good people. The other night, I was Saturday. I was at the Fiddlers. I was a bit drunk, and we had this dinner of friends that day, and then we all went there for beer. I was just like, grab the guitar, start playing on the bar, you know. I'd never do that, you know. But that's what I'm saying. I'm just getting really into
in a merry mood. It's good.
I was in a merry mood. I played some songs. Everybody singing in the bar.
That's nice.
You know, it's just good fun, you know. Just put it back. Played about 10 songs, you know.
It's half a concert.
Yeah, it's just played, and some people were singing. I played, and then it was good fun, you know. I love all that kind of just spontaneity, you know. Just something happens, just do it, you know. and it's not planned. It's more fun, you know.
Mm.
And I like that about music. It's like you can just play it anywhere or do whatever you want.
Right.
So yeah, that's it, man. You know, so I don't know.
Very nice. By the way, for everybody who's watching, this here is a conversational podcast that we're doing every Monday at 7 p.m. Standard European time, live here from Rome, Italy. And if you happen to be here for the first time, hit the subscribe button if you like what you're seeing. And you will see many more guests in the next weeks from all walks of life. And we talk about what they feel passionate about. So, Paul, what's next up in the future for you? What's your plans for this year and for the next years?
Work. I have a lot of work to do. I really hope to do an album this year.
That would
I'm
be
writing. I decided to just not. I have a lot of old songs, but I don't want to record them. I want to write a fresh, new album and about some experiences in the last year and a half. And maybe I hope to do that this year sometime. And I think I'm probably going to travel a bit more this year in certain places. And then obviously we have a busy schedule in the summer with
Very
some
busy
concerts around Italy. And you have a busy summer, a lot of concerts in Italy, and just keep plugging at things, you know, do stuff, like photography. There's a few projects that I'm working on with some people I don't say it now, but I'm hoping that might come into fruition soon. I don't know. It's like more of a business idea and stuff. So
Sweet.
I'd be working on that this year a lot as well. And what else? I'll just want a better year this year. I want to be just relaxed and just enjoy everything I do. You know, life is good. You know, so that's a lot better this year so far. It's been a good year so far. Actually, it's been a nice year. I know it's only started, but I can see it being very good and positive and stuff. So I'm looking forward to
Well, that's great.
the rest. And let's just keep plugging at the music, keep playing, do a bit more exercise, you know, try and live a bit healthier, you know. And you know, I ate some meat the other day. I had
What? Wait.
I went to
What?
Italy
You didn't eat meat for how long now? Over a year.
over a year and a half.
Okay, so
So
how was that? How was it?
It wasn't great actually.
It was not.
No, I had some sandwich. I went to Italy on St. Valentine's Day with some friends, and there was no. You had these tokens, you know. You buy these gettoni, as you call them in Italian, like tokens.
Tokens, yeah.
So I bought some tokens, and it was like there was no like vegetarian food. It was all meat, you know. So it was like barbecue, this and that, you know. And so I was feck it. I'll try something and see what it's like, you know. I ate half of a kind of a barbecue sandwich or something. It was like meat and vegetables and whatever, salad and whatever. Kind of everything tasted nice except the meat, actually.
Really?
Yeah, the bread was nice. I didn't really get into it at all. Like, and then I had something else. And then afterwards, I didn't feel too well. I got those meat sweats. You never get them. You eat too much meat, you get the sweats.
No,
Or
but
maybe I was.
you haven't been eating it in a year, so I
I
suppose.
think something happened to me afterwards. I started becoming very hot and sweaty, and the next morning, then it just felt awful. Like,
Wow.
And, didn't work. So back to the vegetables and.
Well.
But maybe you have to eat other types. I don't know. I just maybe I ate the wrong type of meats or.
Yeah, I guess you gotta experiment.
It was like fast food as well.
Yeah?
You know, not fast food. It was kind of gourmet fast food. You know, it was it was kind of like they had all these stalls and they were like gourmet kind of sandwiches or burgers and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Like so long haven't eaten, then I ate it and it was like, I just didn't like it, man. I just didn't agree with me. So
Wow.
something I have to keep an eye on, I suppose now.
Well, yeah. If you didn't digest it properly, maybe test a few other kinds of meat and see how you
I'm
react to
gonna
it.
like do the like probably in a few weeks again eat something, maybe something different, just to see.
If it happens again, then maybe it's not
Maybe
for you.
just leave it at that, you know. But yeah, well, it's okay, you know. But I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest with you. I didn't like it, you know. It just tasted weird to me actually, because I hadn't tasted it for so long. I don't know, it just didn't go down well at all. Like, you
Right, literally.
know. But no, but I do. I don't disagree with anyone eating meat or anything, but it was just kind of a project I did for see how long I could.
No, fair play to you. Over a year. Wow.
Yeah, so but I do. It's good because I really enjoy vegetables, and now more than ever in my life, you know, I really enjoy the taste of like vegetables.
What's your favorite vegetable dish that you like to eat the most?
I like zucchini a lot.
How you eat them? Like
I just like make with pasta or something, you know. But I like carrots as well. Like they're not like the most exotic, but they're really. Depends how you cook them, I suppose. I've kind of just fried them, I suppose, or parboil them and then fried them a bit, and then they taste good. I like lettuce. I like salads a lot. You know, I love potatoes, and you know, what else? Melanzane.
was it like a specific dish that you like in a combination of the veggies, or is there any?
I like them kind of separate. I like to eat them like you know, with something like, say, I like leek.
When they're still in a recognizable state.
I like there's a dish I learned from a BBC program, you know, BBC cooking program, and I cook leek with carrots, and then on the pan, right, and it gets soft, and then I put the wild salmon trout on top, and just let it steam, and then it just nice, you know, with some lemon and stuff like that.
And this is Irish Cooking with Paul Staunton.
Yeah, it's like, don't try it at home.
Should make it a different podcast.
Yeah, but yeah, I do eat fish though, you know. So, but I like. I went to Puglia in the summer. My God, man, the food down there is spectacular. I ate so much mussels, you know, kosse is it? Kotze, and I ate fish. I ate so well. It was incredible. The food down south is just spectacular. Then I like the Puglia. In Puglia, they have this pasta with broccoletti and anchovy and olive oil. Like, you know, I like all that type of stuff as well. Like, I kind of can't think of meals now that I like.
But it's all very Mediterranean. What you described, they're very light.
Yeah, I
very
like the light.
Perfect for the summer.
I like light eating, and I always had problems with eating meat. And I always maybe drowsy and heavy, you know.
Okay.
But when I eat light, like that type of food, I always feel good, you know. And yeah, obviously tomatoes, whatever way you want to say it. And obviously, like, I love caprese, you know, like the simple mozzarella.
Sure.
Everything here tastes great, man. It's you go. That's what I love about living in Italy. It's like Rome have their own dishes, and then you go to Umbria, they have their own. Tuscany have their thing. Puglia have their.
It's all fantastic.
And like they can all tell me it's the best in the world. I don't care, man.
Just say yes and eat it.
It's like,
just nod and eat it.
It's very unique. And then within every town, there's something unique. You know, like a small town. Like in Umbria, like Tartufo is big. I love Tartufo. Never ate it in my life before I went there. Like I never had Tartufo. Truffles, like just never had it. You know, it's an acquired taste actually. And white or black truffles, I just loved them. Like I just love eating pasta with the fettuccine al tartufo. It's one of my favorite dishes. Like, it's very simple again, you know. I think Italian food is quite simple actually, in a way. Like I think there's never any more than 4 ingredients in a dish, you know.
Well, it's very funny when I compare it to like Dutch cuisine, for example, where they use in the north generally, also in Germany, like lots of sauces and mix up things together and putting things in one plate. Like you have mix up the pasta together with the meat, with the salad in one plate. Like that would be blasphemy in Italy.
I know.
Like you put salad in a separate bowl.
Yeah, just dump it all on plates because you know I think in the north food is like fuel in a way. It's not really. like growing up in Ireland, man, we used to just like throw everything on a plate: chicken,
Yeah.
potatoes, vegetables, all on one plate. And you go into the room and watch TV and eat it. You know,
Right.
you wouldn't sit around the table have a family dinner. You know, I don't think only at Christmas or something. Like, but like everybody, because my mum would be at work and I would cook or if somebody cook, and we just everybody just gravitates to the TV.
Right.
It's just fuel, you know.
Mm.
And I'm sure it's different now. Like it's just different families, forever. But and then Sundays you'd have dinner together and stuff like, or Saturdays. But during the week was always just you just went in and ate. There could be, I might come in later for my soccer training, and when mama dinner's in the oven, like very famous. Like your dinner's in the oven, and you just eat it, and then that's it. You don't really actually acknowledge it. You know, like
Right.
here it's like, oh, I put, you know, it's like you have 2 plates or whatever. I really like the dining here, like and the French as well, the same. You know.
No,
And
we always ate together. It's an Italian family.
I love like I love eating in restaurants actually. I just love going to restaurants and eating out and stuff and just exploring new dishes. Like, but even like going to friends' houses or wherever, eating, I love it. You know, I love the taking your time to eat and stuff like that, drinking the wine. You know, it's just a totally different experience. And when I was growing up, it's just more like fuel. It was just fuel. I think it's like because it's colder there. You don't. But in the summers, I suppose you'd have a barbecue at the back, or whatever. You know, but if it's not raining, and yeah, I mean, my only thoughts about eating with family was really when I went to my grandmother's house, and she'd always make us all sit at the table and stuff, or my other aunts. But that's because it's different, you know, because my mum and dad weren't together, so my mum worked a lot, you know, so she wasn't home a lot. That the evenings we had to just cook our own food and stuff. And that was the way it was, you know. It's not anyone's. I just never grew up in that way where, you know, every day you have dinner with your family. It
Right.
just never happened.
You know, we were sharp, 12 sharp, lunch, 6 sharp was dinner time. And beware if it was 5 minutes after 6 p.m. Like my grandfather used to get mad about it when we went to his place.
Yeah.
Or, but it was always either at home with our family or on the weekends and with the dozens of other family members we had. Like we have a big family, so.
Yeah. But there's some foods I do miss, like I was back
Like?
in Dublin, like just simple coleslaw. Coleslaw, it's like, my mum had this in her house. She had this coleslaw. I was just eating it. I was wow, we can't get that. Some things like brown bread. I always can't find the right brown bread here. But bread's lovely here anyway. But there's a certain bread I like back home that
Right.
I can't get here, and little things like that, you know, little delicacies, you know, like, you know, and the same when we went to Germany that time with your sister's wedding. Some of the food there was great because it was like potato salad was, you know,
The typical
I love
German.
it. Yeah, I love that. Get the salsa Russia, you know, all that creamy stuff, you know.
You know, at Lidl sometimes here in Italy, they every now and then have different country topics, and so you get different delicacies from
like
other
French
countries.
week or Irish week or something.
Like just recently, we got what's it called? Aringa. What's it called in English? In German, it's Hering. It's like a fish. What's herring in English?
Heron.
Herring? Does it
Think so,
exist?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
oh.
Anyway, that kind of fish. Let's see. With Google Maps, what Google
It's like
Translate says.
kippers, is it?
I don't know. Translate. Let's see. Translate. Google.com. Translate.
It's a kind of a very salty fish, is it?
Yes, very salty.
It's brown, is it?
No.
No.
Let's see. Hering. That's the German word. Hering. Okay, from German to English. Herring. Herring. they
Yeah,
call
it's
it.
just,
Yeah, same. So yeah, anyway,
Oh,
they were
nice.
selling that. So it's something that they have often in the north, in the Netherlands, for example.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
Yeah, I want to go. Like, I was looking at. I'm thinking about maybe going to Iceland this year sometime.
Ooh,
And
that's
man, the food there is like some of it's very kind of weird.
yeah. I know. I never
It's just like
ate anything there.
just again very saucy, soupy kind of stuff, you know. And I looked up the top 10 dishes. It was like, it was what was the one? There was one. They buried this fish underground and he urinate on it or something. It's like marinated.
I already
in
don't
urine,
like it.
And then I don't know, man. It's like after
yeah.
reading, I was like, I'll just bring some sandwiches with me or something.
I'll bring my own food.
I'll go to
This
hopefully
time.
there's an Italian restaurant in Rivicek or something. I can go to. But yeah, I plan to go there actually this year. I hope to
Sweet.
be able to do it.
Mm.
I've got to go to California, I think, in October.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be cool. Looking forward to that. And then that's it, man. Broke.
Sweet.
But yeah. So
All right, folks. Last chance to ask a few questions before we wrap it up. For Paul Staunton here, our special guest on this podcast. By the way, for everybody who just joined, subscribe, and you will never miss an episode again. By the way, we're also going to put this here on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the other podcasting platforms, so you can also just listen to the audio version after this. But we're always live every Monday at 7 p.m. So, Paul, where can people find your stuff when if you should upload new albums, or where can they find your old albums?
my mainly iTunes music, and I think I'm on Spotify as well.
Just Paul Staunton, and then they
Yeah.
find you.
The first album's on Spotify. I don't know the second one why it's not there. Have to check that out. But mainly iTunes music and Amazon, and you type my name in, and then Instagram is like Instagram/Paul Staunton music. I'm there as well, and every Thursday night in the Fiddler's Elbow, the open mic. If you want to drop down and say hello, come in and have a jam. And I'm always around Rome and doing stuff, And we got some gigs this week actually.
Yeah.
We have. So the
Friday
Scottish-
and Saturday, right?
Yeah, the Scottish are coming over for the Six Nations, so it should be fun actually. I'm looking forward to that. And it's myself, yourself, and Francesco.
Oh yeah.
At the Waistcoats. We'll be there on Friday and Saturday at the Druids Den. And I think we're playing there in a few weeks' time as well for the English when they come over. I have to get a
You always
Brexit
get the
song
messy
for them.
gigs.
Yeah, I have to think of a Brexit
It's
song.
our
for them.
specialty. The Brexit song.
Right. No, I'm joking. Sorry, friends from England. It's just a joke. Sorry. So I don't know. I feel I haven't given you more information about stuff, I don't
Oh, you
know.
get me a lot. We've been doing this now for over an hour and something, so
I hope it was
good stuff. And hope you will be back many times
Oh, yeah.
on this podcast.
good.
Welcome to the new studio. I hope you enjoy it. You haven't seen this yet.
It's very, very nice. It's a great pleasure to be here. It's really good. And
Oh.
good, man.
Great. Thank you so much for being on the show. Frankie, thank you so much today for being again in the control room and for not burning down anything. And to everybody who is here for the first time, thank you very much for watching this. Please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, which you can find on youtube.com/HeySalPod. And you'll also find all the other social media platforms like Instagram on all the whatever it is /HeySalPod very conveniently. Thanks again for listening or watching. And yeah, have a nice week, everybody. Bye bye.